Hey Blades fans, welcome back to another Florida Everblades pregame show from Hertz Arena. We're here for round one, game 5, last game here at home. Alongside Jake Maurice, I'm Allie Vellucci. Jake, not the game the Blades wanted last night. We knew the series was going to be a close one all around. Every game was going to be a battle. What was a difference maker in last night's end?
I think it was just that South Carolina found that extra edge. I mean, the Florida Everblades, I'd say they played well. They pushed, they tied the game up early in the third period. Things were feeling good.
Yep.
But South Carolina, they were able to get through the next few shifts, kind of wait out that wave of momentum Florida had going for themselves, and then they just get a quick chance off a face-off, bury it, and Florida could never find that tying goal, unfortunately, to force overtime. So I think it was just a game where the Stingrays had that little bit of an extra something, and in the playoffs, sometimes that's all it takes to get the win.
We have to give credit where credit is due. Stevenson in net for South Carolina really kept his team in it. What was he doing that was just setting himself apart and really putting him in those positions to make those big saves when his team needed them the most?
Yeah, well, the Washington Capitals prospect, he's really taken over the crease for South Carolina in this series, started with the shutout back in game 2. And then last night, it was just calm. It was just smart plays with the puck when it was near him. Didn't really give the Everblades any real second opportunities. And he's just a very well established netminder in the crease. He knows where he needs to be, and he knows exactly how to handle himself with where he is. He's not maybe the most athletic goaltender, but he doesn't need to be, because he's smart enough to position himself to make the right save first and not have to make the diving behind the back arm save that looks good on the highlight reels. But Stevenson, he just stops the pucks before they can even get to that scenario.
Oliver Chow back in the lineup, first game back since March 10th against South Carolina. Last time he suited up for the Blades. Head coach Brad Ralph has called him a force all season long, said he's one of the smartest players he's ever seen on the ice. What does he bring back to this Florida lineup? He scored on his first shift back. Like, it's just insane. The guy's everywhere.
Yeah, he brought a goal to the Everblades lineup. That's what he brought. Apart from that, he brings sort of a shiftiness that not a lot of players in the ECHL, never mind just the Everblades, have. And he just brings a different style of game, a different form of offense that you can throw out there that the team didn't have through the first 3 games. Showed up immediately. He got a little bit of luck from upstairs on that goal, but sometimes you need that, and good players seem to be luckier more so than others. And I think just Chow being back in the lineup, it just allows you to run your lineups in more of a different way, where you can throw out Chow whenever you need that style of offense. And Chow is a guy where you don't really need to worry about chemistry, because he can fit in with anyone on this team. You can throw him out there with bruiser guys like McDonald or McCarron. You could throw him out there with more offensive guys along the likes of Sean Josling or Logan Lambden. So it's just, he's a plug-and-play player, and it's great to have him back in the lineup.
Going into game 5 tonight, essentially this game winner is going to take control of the series. We're then going to head back to South Carolina. It's going to be tough to get a win in their building. They have great fans just like the Everblades do. Where do you think Florida's going to have to execute the best tonight?
Special teams are going to be huge. South Carolina got a power play goal yesterday. Florida did not. That ended up being a big difference maker in the game. You're going to need to execute on special teams. You're going to need to take advantage of the momentum that you get from the crowd. Like Florida, they got the goal early in the third period to tie the game, had a lot of energy, a lot of buzz, couldn't really ride it out. And in the first period, they get the goal from Chow really early on. South Carolina counters with 2 quick goals. You got to use the momentum yourself, because going back to South Carolina, it's going to be a lot easier to win 1 game there than it would be to win 2. So getting this win tonight is going to be key to make sure that Florida is in a good position mentally going up to Charleston.
We've talked about physicality a lot this series. Once again, 2 teams that are not strangers to the physicality aspect. I've talked about Andrew Fighton. He was throwing bodies all around last night. Kyle Newbert didn't make it in the lineup, but Cody McDonald was right in there getting ready for things. How do you think they can lean into it even more tonight? Do you think they should, or do you think they should kind of stay away from it, focus more on the offense side of things?
Well, they stayed disciplined, which was good. Only 3 penalties in the game. That's a perfectly fine number. In a game like this, with how much is on the line, tied series, I'd imagine the physicality, some of the nastiness is going to ramp up, because we didn't really see it last night, especially not to the level we saw in game 2.
Correct.
But this game tonight, you do have to be physical. You have to lay those hits, because the crowd loves them. That gives you those little jolts sometimes. And you've got to make sure, though, that you just stay within the rule book while you're doing it. Everblades, for the most part, they did that last night. They were able to lay clean hits that the crowd loved, while still making sure they didn't go to the penalty box or start anything after the whistles that could get them in trouble, anything like that. So as long as you keep that kind of physicality, you're fine. If you get more into what happened in game 2, then the Blades could be in a little bit of trouble.
All right, Blades fans, some more pregame show magic. Jake, I'm going to go first tonight. We just talked about him. Number 12, Andrew Fighton. I think he's a utility player. I think players like having him on their side and in the lineup. He comes in clutch when you need him to with some big goals, but then he can get nasty in the corners too. So I think he's going to have a good game tonight. I think he feeds off the energy. I think he's one of those players that when he gets going, he's hard to stop.
Yeah, he certainly is. I'm going to go with one of the stars from Game 1, Tyler Irvine. 2 goals and an assist back there. He hasn't been able to get himself back on the score sheet in the previous 3 games, but he came through big in the first game. This is a very big game tonight. Everblades need guys to come through, and we saw it with Jared Lukoseviches for South Carolina over the last 2 games. He's come through big for them. If the Everblades, obviously hockey is a team game, but if you can get one player who's having a really good night, it can change the course of the game, and I'm hoping Tyler Irvine can be that guy tonight for Florida.
Very big game 5, 3 keys to the game. What do you got?
Special teams for sure. It's going to key every single game that a team has won the special teams battle. They've gone on to win the games. Next up for Florida, finding a way to build up a multi-goal lead. In Game 1, Florida got up 3-0 in the first period. South Carolina, they never really had a chance to come back in that game. They had opportunities, but nothing ever that really made you feel like your lead was in jeopardy. So getting a multi-goal lead, which Florida could not do when they scored to go up 1-0 early in the game yesterday, that's going to be key. And then also tonight, goaltending. I mean, Cam Johnson versus Clay Stevenson has turned into an elite goaltending matchup. The rookie versus the star-studded veteran. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Just need Johnson to maybe make that one big save in a big moment to keep the game tied or keep the Everblades out front, and that can be the difference in the win.
Here we go, Blades fans. Get loud for Game 5. Warm-ups and puck drop are up next.